very jazzy joy to the world this morning. Yeah, the sounds of the season here in Times Square. Good morning, America. I'm Claire Shipman with David Muir. Diane and Robin are off on this Christmas Eve, but thank you for joining us before your day gets very busy. You know that 1 in 5 of us are still going to be rushing out to buy last-minute gifts later on. Have you finished?
I am done. Last 24 hours. I went right across the toy store after the show yesterday morning. And how about you?
I am all done, and I just want to tell my 2 children, if they're watching, there's presents under the tree. Quit peeking at them.
Peeking.
Exactly.
And Santa, of course, comes tonight. Also this morning, we've got a Christmas miracle. We've been talking about this. Kevin Everett walking onto the field after many thought he would never walk again.
And also, Secret Santa returns. A mysterious Saint Nick is sharing the Christmas spirit in one American city.
And then there's all this talk this morning about Rudolph. Will he actually need that red nose? That story coming up here this morning. But first, we want to go right upstairs to Bianna Goladriga in for Chris Cuomo, who's getting a head start on the holiday as well. Hey there, Bianna. On the right list this year, right?
You're on the right list.
I've been worried about the naughty aspect.
Yeah.
You know, I've been warning him.
I'm just still nervous about that anchor man and that van coming into the studio. I'm glad we're on the second floor here.
Do people like us? What's the deal?
No, nothing but good news today. In the meantime, the countdown's on. Now, if you're still stuck trying to find that great gift, Consumer Reports' Paul Reynolds is here this morning. If you're heading out today, what should you keep in mind? Some tips if you're going to be bringing home some of those bigger items.
Pretty heavy. An elf.
And lastly, on the 26th, with the deals we're seeing already, are we going to see even better deals?
We could see better deals.
And is that because there have been so many discounts already leading up to Christmas, even before Christmas Day arrives, instead of waiting until after when we see the big bargains usually?
Yeah. See, campaigning can be fun.
Can be fun,
Who knew?
Especially for the 2 days that they go back home, right, for the folks in Iowa. But they will be back. All right. We're going to turn now to that incredible story we were talking about, an inspirational story about the true meaning of Christmas. A Kansas City man is honoring a friend's memory by following in his gift-giving footsteps, changing lives and making dreams come true, one person at a time.
Who's that guy?
Incredible. And
I want to give him a hug. I know.
Our Youthful Praise Choir, the Festive Christmas, they're downstairs right here in Times Square this morning, taking us to the break. We'll be back.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shine. It is the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world.
Oh, Holy Night from the Youthful Praise Choir here in our studios this morning on Christmas Eve. Such a frenzied day around the country. People shopping and getting ready for their families to come over. And we sure are glad that you took a little time out of the day to spend it with us here on Good
And
Morning
it's nice to have that reminder first thing in the morning what the day is all about.
What the day is
isn't
all
it?
about, absolutely. I'm David Muir along with Claire Shipman, Diane, Robin, Chris, all getting the holiday started this morning a little early.
But we're in our holiday spirit here. I in my red sweater, David
That's
in
right.
his red tie.
The prerequisite red tie, right?
Exactly. Ahead this morning, a Christmas gift to last a lifetime.
And this is a real Christmas miracle. The football player who we thought would never take to the field again, Kevin Everett, he walked out onto the field this weekend.
Interesting.
You can see
on
the whole
YouTube.
thing on YouTube
I know, see it all on YouTube. Nick, now we understand that you have been watching the Queen since you were a kid. This must be a great
edge,
channel
right?
for you. Exactly.
It is.
Thank you so much, Nick. We appreciate that.
Next year, she'll have a MySpace page for her Christmas message. All right, we're going to move on to that Christmas miracle. In fact, Buffalo Bills player Kevin Everett suffered that life-threatening injury at the start of the football season. Incredible recovery. Gives hope to others, too.
And willpower.
Incredible willpower. And now on this Christmas Eve, an update on a very special family, a great big American family that didn't start out that way. When we first met the Prudens, they were about to embark on an overwhelming emotional journey, one that would take them a half a world away and then send them back as parents. Nightline's Cynthia McFadden has been following this family every step of the way. A great American Christmas from Russia.
Rudolph can just stay at home and chill out at the North Pole this Christmas Eve.
We are going to be getting a lot of angry letters from that, I can tell.
Collective gasp in the studio when we told Rudolph to chill out.
Chill.
You can't get rid of Rudolph.
No,
I mean, he's the star.
so hard.
He was so razzed for that red nose. You got to let him use it at least once a year.
Mars has been in the news a lot lately. Did you hear there's an asteroid, I think, headed towards Mars? I think 1 in 75%. Okay.
Maybe Rudolph still has a chance.
Yeah.
Born the King of Angels, oh come let us adore him. Oh come let us adore him. Oh come
Beautiful rendition of "Oh Come All Ye
incredible.
Faithful" on this Christmas Eve morning. Diane, Robin, Sam, Chris, all off this morning, getting the holiday started. David Muir along with Claire Shipman, and a great crowd this morning here on Christmas Eve. We're trying to get to the North Pole.
Yes, Rudolph has a great red-nosed party every year after Christmas.
You still have time to get there.
I don't know about that.
And the Warm Coats, Warm Hearts Drive, incredible success this year. Or you can drop them off at Burlington Coat Factory or go online, abcnews.com. You've been so generous this year, and we appreciate it. But
It was an incredible reunion, David. And what I love most about Michelle is she's just as enthusiastic and wide-eyed as she was when she was 8. She was so excited to be here.
And I love her honesty when you said, was this the larger collective fear of children? She said, no, I just wanted to make sure Santa was coming to my house.
And if you still have some shopping to do, help is on the way with some great...
Clock is ticking, but if you have those gifts to buy, and trust me, you are not alone out there, there's still time to get just the right thing.
And those are the beautiful voices of the Youthful Praise Choir singing "Go Tell It on the Mountain." They're really putting us in the Christmas mood. In fact, David and I were thinking we might sing a few bars too, right?
We'd put them to shame if we added ourselves to the choir. There really was something this morning. Speaking of the music, we're going to get the bottom line behind the real story of Feliz Navidad. You know it's Christmas time when it starts playing on the radio every year. About these real-life gingerbread houses right here. We've trucked them in from North Carolina. Oprah Winfrey and Denzel Washington have brought to the screen a film that's already gotten a Best Picture Golden Globe nomination. Not bad, due in part to the performances of 3 remarkable young actors. And joining me this morning, the gifted cast, Journey Smollett, Denzel Whitaker, and Nate Parker. Thank you all for being here. Merry Christmas. I was joking just beforehand. I should just let you do this since you guys are the talkers. But this movie is getting incredible buzz. Comes out Christmas Day, and it must feel like such a blessing to have been a part of it.
Oh,
it is a blessing.
Such a huge blessing.
What was it like to work with Denzel Washington and Oprah Winfrey? Give us a little bit about what we might not know about Denzel. He was here talking about the message that this movie sends, that back in 1935, this small school was able to do this debate team, and you all trained for this. You went and took part in a debate. Tell me a little about that. And not to rub it in, but I did read that you guys did pretty well. Didn't you win in the practice run?
You don't like to brag.
And Journey, what do you think is the larger message here? Denzel was talking about how he hopes that young children across America will embrace intelligence and knowledge, that knowledge is power. It's a cliche, but it's so true, is it not?
It's so true. I mean,
and you were the only woman on the debate team.
Yes, Henrietta was the only woman.
And you mentioned she's 96. Have you had a chance to meet her?
Oh gosh, all the time. I've stayed with her. I sang in her church choir.
You've been part of her life, both on screen and in real life.
Amazing.
And you know, I know the 3 of you brought gifts with you this morning for our Warm Coats, Warm Hearts Drive, and we have them off screen, and they're gonna. You have them behind us here.
Right here.
Fantastic. That was such a great thing. And before we let you go, I've got to get to the nitty gritty. You actually fought to get this part. One of you had a bloody lip.
Absolutely. There was an audition process. It was grueling. You know what I mean? We really was.
Which one of your mothers was waiting off screen to say who gave you the bloody lip?
That was Nate gave me the bloody lip.
And how did that happen? Because you were just so intense in the audition?
Literally, we have a fight scene in the movie which just kind of dulled down. But
how to get to the Denzel Whitaker thing too? Did you change your name so you could get this Denzel Whitaker? Because Forrest Whitaker's in the movie. Denzel Washington directed, produced.
Not a stage name, not a typo. That's my real birth name, Denzel Dominic Whitaker.
All right.
They just wanted a D name.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Merry Christmas to all 3 of you. It's an incredible movie, and I hope people go out and check it out. I can't wait to see the impact that you have. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for bringing the coats in, too. The Debaters opens on Christmas Day,
And our friends have made their annual journey into Times Square to show us the winners of their 15th annual National Gingerbread House competition.
The way you do this is 2 for me, 1 for the gingerbread house, 2 for me.
He's corrupting young minds here, ladies and gentlemen.
We certainly hope that tomorrow morning you'll join to put together a very special Christmas Good Morning America, so wake up with them tomorrow morning.
And we just want to wish everybody a happy Christmas Eve and a Merry Christmas, and a special thanks to the Youthful Praise Choir. They're going to sing us off the air one last beautiful song this morning. It's Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
And good morning, America. I'm Claire Shipman.
And I'm David Muir. Hard to believe another year is almost behind us. Diane, Robin, Chris, Sam, all off on this Monday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2007. And surely they are not one of the many who are staking out their claim out here in Times Square.
I think so. I think
you
they're
think
out
so,
there
Diane,
right now,
Robin?
lining up. That's right.
We've also found a new way to remember the year that's passed us. We'll tell you how the hot sellers on eBay may be a way to tell us everything we need to know about 2007. And looking ahead to the new year, can eBay actually predict the outcome of the presidential primaries? First this morning, we are closing in on an historic and wide open start to the voting for our next president. The race to 2008 begins for real in just 3 days in Iowa with the caucuses. Every waking moment counts in a race that's really too close to call at this point. And our political team is in the Hawkeye State to find out how each candidate hopes to grab those last-minute votes. And
so interesting, but a lot of people say John Edwards has to win, Mitt Romney has to win.
The nerves inside the campaigns at this point, because the numbers are so close. Makes it fun for the rest of us, but working the campaign is a different story. This morning, America's top military official in Iraq marks 2007 as a year of progress in the Middle East. General David Petraeus says the number of weekly attacks in Iraq has fallen by about 60% since June, saying al-Qaeda is on the run.
Good morning, America. I'm Claire Shipman.
I'm David Muir. Diane, Robin, Chris, and Sam all out there staking their little spot. Hardly.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully they're home with their family, which we sure are, wishing themselves a happy new year, and we wish them as well. Enjoying these last couple of days off. A reminder, obviously, Dick Clark, Ryan Seacrest, the big party tonight. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. We're all looking forward to that. But first, this half hour, that GMA exclusive this morning from space. It's the first interview with astronaut Dan Tani since he learned his 90-year-old mother, Rose, his hero, as he calls her, died after her car collided with a train. Her son, the astronaut, learned of the loss while in space, some 220 miles above Earth, with no way of getting back home. The crew has been there for him, and I spoke with him and Mission Commander Peggy Whitson just moments ago. Dan, first off, our sympathies are with you on the loss of your mother. Everyone down here wondering how you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I know you sent a video message back down for her memorial service, and you have said that at 90 years old, your mother was in her prime, that she was your hero. What can you tell us about her this morning?
She was amazing.
I know that before all of you go up in space that you are asked by NASA whether or not you want to be informed of bad news, of personal loss back here on Earth that might take place while you're up in space. How do you go about making that decision?
Well, that was a very easy decision for me, and I know, I don't think anybody wants to be the last to know some big news like this, and I think virtually everybody probably chooses to want to know everything as soon as possible.
Commander, how do you go about preparing for personal loss on a mission? I know that you have been there for Dan, and the rest of the team has as well. How does one prepare themselves to help out a fellow astronaut in a time like this?
Well, it's interesting. We had talked about some generically, of course, before flight, but it was helpful to get their suggestions and encouragement after the tragedy of Dan's mom.
I know you've all kept busy and have tried to lighten things up for Dan. So with New Year's Eve here, what do you do in space? I mean, do you have a party planned?
We're going to dance tonight. How's that sound? I don't have a black gown, though, unfortunately.
And I don't know how you dance in space. I guess there's some floating going on there with your dance moves. How does Earth look this New Year's Eve?
It's beautiful as always.
Dan, you have such a unique perspective, some 220 miles above Earth. So I guess I would ask what you hope for in 2008. What's your view for the year ahead?
Well, generically, the world can always use more peace. And from this perspective, 200 miles away, the Earth is so beautiful, and the boundaries that we see are natural boundaries. They're mountains and rivers and continents, and all of them are beautiful.
What a great message, the natural boundaries. We should all keep that in mind down here. Well, Dan, our thoughts are with you, with your mom, your entire family. Come on home soon. And Commander Peggy Whitson, our congratulations to you on such a job well done up there as Commander. Thanks to you all, and Happy New Year.
Very much, and Happy New Year to you, too.
As they wave there from space. Dan comes home actually in a couple of weeks. His family will be ready here to hug him. And I love how they talk about the party tonight. No black dress, but some space moves.
I like the dancing.
Just kind of float.
That was nice. Oh, a lot of wisdom from space this morning. That was really nice.
Coming up here on GMA, Obama, Clinton, Edwards, could eBay hold the answer to the presidential race? How's that true? When we come back.
On this final day of 2007, we're looking back, getting a final snapshot of the year before it's gone.
In fact, we've discovered this morning one way that tells us a lot about what made the biggest impact in 2007. Here's our senior national correspondent, Jake Tapper.
David David Muir neckties. Those
Yeah.
are really hot.
They're so out. Actually, some really deep and profound resolutions, right? We've been working on these. We'll get into those when we come back. Good to have you here this morning. Around the water cooler this morning, New Year's resolutions. We all make them every year. So interesting. 35% of Americans break them in the first month.
No.
Often we talk about getting into shape. It's so cliche, but literally, I'm going to do that this year. And well, how does this work? Because I never see. I told you my head's too big.
Good. That's a good look for you, David.
I just lost all credibility with that thing.
All right, but don't you have a serious resolution? Come on.
Just to be more thankful, I think.
I'd like to
more
do
of
that
this
too.
year.
Thank you. We'll be back. Good morning, America. I'm Claire Shipman.
And I'm David Muir, in for Diane and Robin on this New Year's Eve. They are home celebrating with their families, of course, this morning. And the only thing that could probably beat Australia is Times Square, right? And the countdown to the ball is already underway. You know, 1 billion people around the world will actually tune in to watch the ball drop, the 100th anniversary of the ball drop this year.
Oh, it's incredible. We're also going to tell you a little bit later.
We're going to take a look at some of the stories that made headlines in the past year. And one of the things that you found on YouTube, YouTube's such a huge sensation this year, was Pearl the landlady. Remember this with Will Ferrell? If you haven't seen this yet, I don't know where you were this year, but we're going to show it to you again this morning. It's hilarious. We'll get into that. Take a look back now at the big topics that made news this year, news stories that really moved all of us, the new people that came into our lives and the images that are lasting from 2007.
Peter, there's so much to talk about, so many big stories, but first let's start with some of the stories that touched our hearts. Virginia Tech, I know we were both there. It was extremely moving to both of us personally, and I think it really touched everybody in the country.
The ironies of life is that in the wake of a tragedy like that, some of the greatest acts of kindness and heroism occur.
You talk about courage and bravery, and that seems to resonate when you look back at the past year. One of the stories that Claire and I were talking about, you know, YouTube and the viral videos, such a part of our lives now, all the funny things you can check out on YouTube, and I can't help but to forget the Will Ferrell video with a little girl that they had set up as the landlady.
Pearl the landlady.
Yeah, we've actually got a short little piece of it now. We're going to take a quick look, and then we'll react on the backside.
Hi, Pearl. You don't have to raise your voice.
You pay you!
I can give you half.
You pay!
Don't make fun of me crying.
You be a bit fit.
I'm not doing so good, Pearl.
I put you on the street.
That's right. Pearl would fit really well right here in New York City as a landlady.
The best line of...
Good morning, America. I'm David Muir, along with Claire Shipman this morning. Will Diane, Robin, Chris, Sam get their New Year's started? And we've got a lot coming up in this half hour.
We sure do. Speaking of coats, this morning we have a very special guest to help us with our coat drive. National Treasure Book of Secrets star Diane Kruger is here. She's adding another coat to our total. Throw it in. Good to see you. Thank you so much. You can add. Do you have any fantastic New Year's Eve plans? Do you want to inspire the two of us here?
You know what? I am actually hosting a party tonight. A flapper party at the Soho Grand, a private dinner for my friends. And
yeah, Claire, I'm going to be there, Claire. I didn't know. I didn't want to miss anything, but yeah, it's just.
You weren't trying to make me feel bad, right?
Well, we hope the party's fun. And coming up here on GMA, there's no more delicious way to start the new year than how we're going to do it. Stick around. This is the menu for the new year.
Goes our resolution.
That's right. So it was just about 30 minutes ago we made our New Year's resolution to get
we're
into
really
shape.
sticking to them. Yeah, exactly.
We're breaking it already. 2008's not even here, and this is a night of decadence, in fact. Happy with us.
Thanks for being with us. On your menu, it looks incredible. Tell us about it.
It is incredible because I'll tell you why. It's simple gourmet.
How about a toasted cat this morning?
Absolutely.
You're going to find this recipe and all the others you might want, of course, abcnews.com. Happy New Year. Where's my shampoo?
This is it right here. I'm holding it for you.
Coming up next year, the legacy of a coat, passing on the warmth.
Happy New Year.
You can have mine. You can have mine this year.
I was going to say in just a few hours the place is going to go crazy, but it's already crazy.
Wish you a happy new year and thank you for waking up with us every morning. And we'll wake up with you all in 2008.
We sure will.